Alright boys, first up, this is the official color designs for Leonidas and Apollo. Both of them looking pretty good. I wasn't really predicting this for Apollo's hair color, but let me know your thoughts on this down below. We have the leaks or the raws for the new chapter. A flashback for Leonidas, or I guess the first flashback, explaining why he hates Apollo to some degree that we learned last chapter. And then of course continuing the fight with Leonidas's volume being revealed and the first major, I guess, clash or person to take the lead in the fight, so pretty cool stuff. Something that may be controversial throughout the fandom, which I'll get into shortly, but before that, subscribe for more Ragnarok content. That's what I provide on this channel, Mysterious Weeb. Buddha vs. Jun in the anime adaptation is coming out next month on the 12th, I believe, so stay tuned for videos regarding that on the channel, but I hope you enjoy. So it seems like many people from Leonidas' time actually pray directly to Apollo, as we get to see this statue here representing the Apollo we actually get to see in Ragnarok, meaning Apollo actually came down to Earth and pretty much revealed himself to humanity at some point. I hope we get to see this in maybe his flashback or maybe a second part of Leonidas' flashback, but based on what we get to see here, it seems like Leonidas didn't have a personal interaction with Apollo, more so his presence and influence over humanity when he was alive, or potentially of his kingdom. As we get to see panels of him pulling up like an absolute madman, having this hairstyle back then, which personally I didn't really expect. I thought that was him modernizing himself that we got to see with his character design going out to fight Apollo in Ragnarok. But this is actually what he looked like back in his time in the flashback here. Pulling up on the statue of Apollo and being what he is, the mightiest rebel. Most likely when the full chapter comes out with the translations, we'll get a better understanding of why he actually hates Apollo and did all this. I'm hoping it's not just the whole him being a rebel and not needing a god to pray to be strong and all that type of stuff. I'm hoping it isn't that, but based on everything we get to see here, that may be the case. But of course we get to see some panels of the legendary fight, King Sparta going in with all of his Spartans, absolute peak panels. The art is of course amazing, as Ragnarok is known for. So interesting stuff, adding context to why he hates Apollo, and most importantly allowing us to see how much of a badass he actually was before he died, which may be shown in the flashback as well, or potentially another one. We don't always get to see how the human fighters died in the time. I believe around half of them we have and another half we haven't. We may get it for Leonidas, and I think we most likely will. But as a whole, half of the chapter this month is about his first flashback. We could get more, we have to wait and see, but solid stuff so far. But the most interesting stuff actually occurs regarding the fight. With last month's chapter, there was many theories regarding his character design and what his volume would actually be. Of course, the most obvious thing to point to was his shield being his volume, but a few people were actually mentioning that his cigar was actually the volume, and if that was the case, which it isn't unfortunately, that would have been pretty badass. But we get to see his more so futuristic shield, which is actually coloured like this in the official colour spread, transform into this. Yes, I don't really think anyone expected this. A lot of us were like, where is Leonidas' spear? Was like the Valkyrie going to come flying down after the last chapter and then transform into the spear or something like that. But no, this shield is actually devolved, transforming into a ranged weapon with a chain on it. I'm guessing a lot of you watching won't actually like this. Of course, let me know down below in the comments. Personally, I'm more so neutral on it. I don't hate it, but I don't particularly love it. It does, of course, add a unique factor and not really going on typical tropes we're really expecting from Leonidas. So that aspect is cool. But let's go over what actually happens with this attack. So he sends it directly at Apollo, who grabs it like a badass with his hands like this, expecting to completely stop it, but that isn't what happens. After he catches it, some weird aura begins to appear around the weapon, allowing it to, I guess, get stronger or potentially absorb Apollo's power. That's what I get the sense of here. We see him confused about what's going on. Since he was able to catch it so easily, I'm getting the sense that it absorbed his power a little bit, allowing it to go straight through his hands and land a direct shot, with him already coughing up blood. So a pretty lethal attack already 2 chapters into the fight. Didn't really expect that. Based on the way Apollo was already portrayed in the previous chapter, he was kinda getting built up as someone quite strong and more so speedy, but he didn't even try to dodge this attack. Of course, most likely having similar confidence to the likes of Poseidon, just wanting to flex his power and block it, and seems to be outplayed already. With that being, I believe, the end of the chapter, or at least for the leaks. There's probably going to be a few more panels when the full raws come out, so stay tuned for that. And of course the translations, which will explain a lot of the things. Most likely this aura going around this, and everything about his flashback that I already mentioned. But of course, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I have a what if battle for Record of Ragnarok in the works coming out in a few days, and of course a video on the translations. Check out all the other stuff in the description if you haven't already. And yep, Patreon Mad Lads, here they are. That's it guys, peace.